What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I bring you yet another posing showcase, this time featuring both Hot Toys MMS 474 and MMS 557, Infinity War and Endgame Thor figures. This showcase, I have to say, is one I've been excited for, but also a little cautious about doing due to the articulation restrictions of both these guys. But I can tell you, after posing them up and playing with them, man oh man, they can do some things. And if you're like me and want a variety for displaying your figures, I'm telling you, whilst they aren't as posable as I would like, there are plenty of options still for displaying your Thor figures. Thor is a fun character, and he's had some of my favourite moments in the MCU, so I'm glad he's still around for Phase 4, and I'm really looking forward to Thor Love and Thunder. For this showcase, I wanted to use both Infinity War and Endgame Thor as it just felt right. We do some scenes with them together and apart as we go throughout the video. You'll see the level of difficulty increase, progressing to some big fun displays towards the end. Counting this intro and the outro, we do a total of 12 scenes featuring multiple poses and figures throughout. Now, just a reminder that in my posing showcases I use multiple figures, accessories and dioramas to assist with the storytelling and creating of scenes to view and admire our star character. I will touch on what comes with and what doesn't come with the figure as we go throughout the poses. Each scene goes around on the turntable for about 2 minutes as always. I'll also show you all the angles and give you some info on each pose and how I set it up at the start of each one. Don't forget, if you like my content, hit that like button, hit the notification bell and subscribe to the channel. It helps me grow and continue to make this type of content, not to mention I really appreciate all the support, and just for doing so you go in the draw to win yourself a really cool prize we have going on the channel at the moment on the road to 2.5k subs, which I'll touch on at the end of the video. But now, with that, you know what we do. Scene number 1. We have both Infinity War and Endgame Thor standing back to back in simple yet strong looking character poses. As you can see, I'm using the battle damage Thanos base to add an extra element to enhance the scene, as well as custom wired capes for both of these guys, from my guy at Unreal Toys on Instagram, who is working with us for our 2.5k giveaway, which I'll touch on again at the end of the video. Honestly guys, I personally love wired capes in general for display, posing and photography purposes, but I love them even more especially for figures like both of these guys. Basically because these guys are pretty limited in many ways when it comes to posing due to the design of the figure and that light up torso, unfortunately. However, using wired capes can elevate basic standing poses to make it look even more dynamic than it actually is. So throughout this video I will do my best to show in all poses I do how a wired cape can help tell the story and elevate your figure viewing experience. Scene number 2. Both Thors back to back again, but this time Infinity War Thor standing atop the base, raising Mjolnir to the sky, catching some lightning with his cape flowing in the wind. Whilst Endgame Thor stands stoic with his hands resting on top of Stormbreaker, beginning to surge electricity through it. His cape also beginning to catch the wind. I love both of these looks for these guys because they are both basic achievable poses. I will say though, my Infinity War Thor's ankles are pretty weak, so to avoid him falling off whilst this is going around, I've actually put a little bit of blue tack on the bottom of his right foot to make him a bit sturdier. I'm also using Endgame's Mjolnir here because this one lights up and looks much cooler. For Endgame Thor, it's still safe and basic. I will say to achieve this look though, you need to bend his elbows in towards his belly button to get them closer together. I don't know if that could damage the material in the elbow joint over time, so I would exercise caution if this is a pose you want to leave him in long term. I would say check back every couple of days when you first do it, just to see. But either way, I really like seeing these guys posed up like this together, and I quite enjoyed this one. What do you guys think? Scene number 3, we have Infinity War Thor about to leap off some rubble, cape catching the wind again, surging with lightning through his hands, and Stormbreaker, about to bring down the fury only the god of thunder knows how to do. For this pose, I'm using the rubble base with the clear rod and crotch grabber, as it helps sell the illusion for me more when viewing the figure on display. For this one as well, I'm using Stormbreaker that comes with the Endgame Thor, as the size of this one looks much better, plus has the lightning effects which look great. To get him to be able to hold it like this though, I have used the wrist peg that comes with the Endgame Thor, as he comes with some that don't bend. This is important because the weight of this Stormbreaker is significant and a normal wrist peg will probably buckle under the weight of it. Lastly, I'm also using the Mjolnir lightning effect on his hand here to make it look like the lightning is surging from the fingertips, just to add in a little extra element again. Scene number 4, we get Endgame Thor a little more dynamic. For this one we have him flying in, bringing down Stormbreaker into the Molten Man base, slamming it into him, cracking him open whilst he brings in Mjolnir with his right hand for a follow-up strike. I have to say, this is one of my favourite poses I've achieved with Bro Thor. I love the colours and contrast between these two pieces together, and that wired cape I think looks awesome. The flow of it really helps sell the look of him flying in. Using a base like this as well gives his angle and purpose more depth, because you see why he's flying in like this. I think if I didn't have the base here, I wouldn't have had the idea to angle him like this. That's again another reason why I love using extra elements. They allow you to play off them to create something you may not have if that wasn't there. In regards to the pose, it's actually not very stressful at all either. Stormbreaker is helping him balance as it's wedged into the base, and then I have his leg balancing in the waist grabber and it's all locked in. He isn't going anywhere. Lastly, I'm using the angle of the cape to make it look way more dynamic than it actually is. What do you guys think of this one? Let me know in the comments down below. Scene number 5. We have God versus God. Who do you think would win this battle? Either way, for this video at least, Thor is in charge currently, having slammed Mjolnir into Superman's chest, and he's hovering above him now, about to light him up something proper. For this one, I have a generic flight stand and flight pole underneath the rubble base. This way I can have Thor elevated higher above Superman, because if I was using the clear rod that comes with this base, I wouldn't be able to create this look here. Again, we use the cape as well to enhance the look of the display by having it blowing in the wind. If he was in an action pose like this, I think the cape would not be hanging still, it would be flapping about. To create the effect here showing Thor shooting lightning out of his hands as well, I'm using the lightning effects that come with the Endgame Stormbreaker, and all I've done is just friction fitted the attachment that connects to the axe and wedged them into his fingers. Other than that, it's not a stressful pose for either of these guys. Scene number 6, we have Endgame Thor versus battle damaged Thanos, and this time Thor is going for the head. Leaping off the base, Stormbreaker in hand, cape flowing in the wind, looking all types of awesome. As you can see here though, as big as Bro Thor is, he still looks small compared to the beast that is Thanos. I do love how these two look together. I envision in my final display on the shelf having all of my Endgame heroes coming at Thanos and keeping Thor in this very pose amongst them. I feel like this is a good dynamic look for Thor without actually being that dynamic. Again, using a diorama base, changing his angle, manipulating the cape and adding in an additional figure can make something seem more grand than it is, because you're seeing a whole scene together and it's now telling a story. Scene number 7. Okay, from here, we're kicking it up a notch. We have Infinity War Thor having launched Mjolnir right into Ronan, then we have Endgame Thor slamming Stormbreaker into Wolverine. Man, I really need to get some basic thugs to use as my punching bags for my heroes, because poor Ronan and Wolverine keep getting thrown in the line of fire. I'm sorry guys, but I appreciate the help. For Infinity War Thor and Ronan, I wanted to convey him throwing Mjolnir into someone and seeing them being launched back to capture that moment of impact. And as you can see for both of these guys, I've had to use stands to support them because of the angle that they're in. For Endgame Thor, I actually have him balancing without a stand, which I can tell you isn't easy for a pose like this. but I can tell you Stormbreaker is also helping hold him in place as it's balancing with Wolverine, and he's taken some of the weight so Thor doesn't fall over, luckily. All in all, I think I got the look for what I was going for here. I would say though this is something I'd only do for photography and not for the shelf. Scene number 8, my Infinity War team up. We have Thor flying forward with Stormbreaker, then we have Iron Man Mark 50 in a cool landing pose, Captain America with his Wakandan shields running forward bravely into battle as only Cap would do. Then following up the back we have Iron Spider swinging in with his spider legs out and ready for action. For this display I wanted to convey something like a comic book cover that had layers and levels to it from all angles, and I have to say, this is one of my favourite displays I've done to date. I'm loving how all these guys look together. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about having my figures displayed in shrine-like setups all together, creating scenes. This is definitely how I would love to leave them in my display if I could make it work. Not sure if it would fit, but if it does, this is my jam for these guys. I'd love to know what you guys think. Is this a setup you would do in your displays? Let me know in the comments down below. Scene number 9. We now move on to my Endgame team up. In regards to the poses, they are all pretty basic for this one. Thor is the star of the show, and I wanted to emulate the moment when he charged up and blasted Iron Man with the lightning to help him against Thanos. For this I have used one of the sides of the Stormbreaker lightning pieces to sit at the end of Stormbreaker, so it looks like the lightning is extending and connecting with Iron Man's backpack piece. Then we move on to Iron Man standing and blasting forward, accompanied by Cap, doing his classic pointing gesture, signaling to move forward. And finally, Iron Spider, this time holding onto the Infinity Gauntlet, protecting it. I love the look of this display and having them all together, but I will say this is best viewed on the turntable I think, or from above so you can actually see what's going on properly. If this was just in your display from front on, I don't think you would see Thor properly unless you can view it from the side easily. My goal was not to use any stands with this and have them all standing strong together, and I'm pretty happy with how this one turned out. Scene number 10. Okay guys, this is a random one, and I thought I'd throw it in for a little bit of fun. I was playing Barbies with my daughter Mila the other day, and I noticed some of their accessories, which gave me the idea for this entire display, showing two sides of Thor. The fit, buff Thor, which I have him doing some push-ups on the bench here, and Bro Thor, who's a little more relaxed, grabbing some pizza out of the fridge. I don't think it all scales very well, but it's pretty close. Close enough to have some fun with these guys, as Thor in himself is a fun character in the MCU these days. For the poses, we have Jack Thor looking over at Bro Thor whilst he busts out some reps. It's a basic pose, but I wouldn't leave these seamless arms like this for too long. It's purely only for this scene. Bro Thor is super simple as well. He's literally just standing there getting some grub from the fridge. Now, as I continue to make these posing showcases, I'm starting to really getting into being more playful and seeing what we can do incorporating extra elements into videos and displays. So moving forward, when budget permits it, I'll be adding extra dioramas and accessories to the collection so I can tell more stories with my figures moving forward. Okay guys, we have the outro and final display for these guys. Infinity War Thor surging with power and electricity, levitating. And then we have Endgame Thor in an iconic stance after catching both Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, also surging with power and electricity. I hope you've all enjoyed this showcase today. It's been a lot of fun for me seeing what I could come up with for these guys to show you all some ideas for your own displays, as well as bring you something artistic to watch and admire our star character Thor too. For me, being a fan of Thor, I can tell you I love the look of both of these guys for different reasons. They both have great shelf presence and represent two of my favourite superhero films to date, so for me, they are both a must-have in my collection. But now, we've reached the end for today. I thank you all for tuning in. If you haven't already done so, do us a favour, hit that like button, hit the notification bell and subscribe to the channel. We currently have a new giveaway on the channel working in conjunction with Unreal Toys on Instagram, where we're teaming up to give away 2 custom capes to a lucky winner once my channel reaches 2.5k subscribers. So if you have figures with capes and you wish you could articulate them but you can't, hit that subscribe button and you could win yourself some for your figures. While you're at it, hop on Insta and give Unreal Toys a follow so you can see all the awesome work he's doing, not just on capes, but many other ventures in the 1/6 community. Terms and conditions for this giveaway are, this time, you will need to pay the shipping fee as this contest is worldwide, so anyone can be a winner. This is a thank you from me to you for supporting the channel because I really appreciate all the support I get. Lastly, we got reviews, unboxings, story-styled posing showcases, live streams including my shows Posed Up, Take a Position Live, and new show The Rundown that I co-host with the Figure Posing channel where we deep dive into film and TV. Until next time though guys, live life, have fun, and keep posing. I'm out.